So this is Let's Chat Once Upon a Time. As always, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but a lot to go through tonight. A lot of emotions are running. But before we get into anything, of course, this is your spoiler alert warning. This will contain spoilers from the season 6 season finale. So please, if you have not watched that, pause this, go watch, then come back, and we can chat about it. That's how this whole thing works. So, are you ready? Because in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I warned you. Okay, oncers. Season 6 is in the bag. It has been a while since I've done a Let's Chat Once Upon a Time. Mainly, for those I know, there's been some people who have DM'd me, who have asked me, who have emailed, who have said, hey, what happened? Basically, because this airs on a Sunday night, it's been harder for me to watch it live recently in the last year or so. I haven't really been able to watch it live anymore. I usually travel. When I'm traveling, I usually travel back on Sundays, which is when it airs. And so it just became a little bit more difficult to do it the way that I wanted to do it. So I just haven't done one in a while. That does not mean I've stopped watching Once Upon a Time. It is still one of my favorite TV shows. I heart Captain Swan. Give a thumbs up to this video if you are a Captain Swan shipper. So, lots to discuss. Season 6 was in the bag. So first off, raise your hand if you guessed correctly what we've kind of all been assuming for a while, that Andrew J. West, who a lot of us know as Gareth from Walking Dead, he was cast in the mysterious role that has been, you know, that will move on to season 7. How many of you guys guessed that it was an older Henry Mills who forgotten how to believe? I did. The second that they kind of released the casting notice, I think it was TV Line posted the casting notice, a bunch of us on Twitter, a bunch of us in the fandom, the first thing we all thought was, it's Henry. It's an adult Henry. And it's basically restarting the series, but instead of Emma Swan being the one who doesn't believe, it's the boy with the heart of the truest believer. Henry Mills has indeed forgotten about everything. And his daughter named Lucy, who we don't know who her mother is yet. It could be Violet, it could be somebody else. She is now sent on this mission in Seattle to get him to believe again with a brand new storybook. And the storybook that she has ends with kind of a last supper of our dear Captain Swan and all the people who are leaving. So before we get into rehashing the 2-hour season finale, of course, we must address the big elephant on the video. Of course, we know Jennifer Morrison is not coming back. She'll be in the season premiere. That's all she's contractually obligated to do. She may or may not come back for more episodes, but we know that she is only guaranteed for the first episode, I think, back next season, so season 7 premiere. We are also losing the Charmings. We're losing Snow White and Prince Charming, so Jennifer Goodwin and Josh Dallas. We are also losing Zelina, so Rebecca Matter's not going to come back. Belle's not coming back. Basically the only one, and Jared Gilmore is not coming back. Current present day Henry is not coming back, obviously. So the only ones that we are getting back are Captain Hook, so Colin O'Donoghue, Lana Prela, and obviously Robert Carlyle, so Hook, Regina, and Rumpelstiltskin. Seeing where this is going and that he has to save his family, I can kind of see where they're going with this. You know, Adam and Eddie did say that they really hoped that the fans would see where next season is going, what the spinoff is going to be, and that they're not, I mean, everybody got their happy ending. That was the whole main thing. I know as a big Captain Swan shipper, my whole thing was do not screw up that ship. Do not screw it up. I will scream and curse you until the kingdom come if that happens. They didn't. Everyone got their happy ending. The Charmings finally got out of that stupid loft, which honestly they should have done that years ago, but they got out of the loft. They got a house. I didn't see any turrets, but they got a house, and David got his farm, and Regina got what she wanted, and you know, the Charmings, you know, the Joneses lived happily ever after, and you know, we all kind of, Hook became a deputy, and I don't understand how the Bug is an actual qualified police car, but you know, it's a made-up town, so whatever. So now that we've kind of addressed that, am I sad that Jennifer Morrison is leaving? Of course. Do I understand why she's leaving? And even bigger, of course. Those of you who know me, those of you who have been around, why are you losing focus? No, stay in focus. Those of you who have talked to me online, those of you who have read my blog for years, you guys know I understand the inner workings of the entertainment industry. It's hard for me sometimes to watch a show from a fan's point of view where there's always a small part of my brain knowing how this works on the flip side. So 6 years is a lot on a TV show. I mean, yes, there are people who have stuck it out for 13 years, Grey's Anatomy, but 6 years is a lot, and it's a lot to only be able to do one thing ever. You know, I think a lot of people forget that when you sign on to do a TV show, you are signed on to shoot basically from July through April, maybe beginning of May. Mainly through the end of April. You get a few weeks off obviously for Christmas and a couple of other things, but you get that huge chunk of time you are committed to the show, which means if you want to do any other projects like a movie or, you know, sing in an album or do something like that, or even do a stage show, you really only have from May until the end of June to do these things, unless you can work out a contractual, unless you can work out some sort of agreement between the studios. So, and actors are creative people. We are all very creative people, and so I of course understand why after 6 years you would want to pursue something else. Does it hurt my Captain Swan heart? Of course it does. Of course it does. Am I gonna miss Emma Swan? Of course I'm gonna miss Emma Swan, but I like to look on the brighter side of life. Meaning we still have Captain Hook, and I adore Colin O'Donoghue. I adore what he's done with Captain Hook. So there's that. I'm gonna be frankly honest, I'm not really going to miss Snowing that much. I mean, obviously I love Snow White and Prince Charming, but their story's done. There's really nothing else for them to do. The one I am actually really going to miss the most is Zelena. I'm really gonna miss Rebecca Matter. I mean, I am a huge Wizard of Oz fan. I love Wizard of Oz. I annoyed the hell out of my mother with the Wizard of Oz, like so much so that she will not watch the Wizard of Oz. And I just think Rebecca Matter just did a brilliant job bringing Zelena to life, and I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss that on the show. I hope that somehow they find a way for her to come back, because I love that. I mean, the last half of season 3, the whole Wicked Witch, the whole Oz storyline that ended with the Captain Swan movie, that is still hands down my favorite story plot, my favorite arc of any of the Once Upon a Times. So now that we've hashed all that out, let's recap this episode. So of course it started, you know, I think Adam and Eddie gave an interview to someone this week. There's been a lot of interviews this week, stating that they were going to, the opening 2 minutes of the show were going to be with the 2 new characters, which we did see. And obviously we now know it was Henry and his daughter Lucy. It looked like they were back in the Enchanted Forest. So apparently at some point in time, they went back to the Enchanted Forest. They were fleeing, and Lucy needed to protect the storybook. So it sounded like possibly another curse was on the way. After that, we jumped right into, you know, we ended last week with the amazing musical episode with, of course, the Captain Swan wedding, which, raise your hand, again, if you are still listening to the musical episode soundtrack. So leave a thumbs up if you are still listening to the musical episode soundtrack, because honestly, I cannot get Revenge, Revenge, Revenge is gonna be a line out of my head. Revenge, Revenge, all that. So we jumped right into what we saw in the very first promo, which came out Friday, I think. They released those promos really late this year, of Emma in a mental hospital, the Black Fairy's Curse. It was basically kind of like a reset where, you know, her family members, her core family members went back to the Enchanted Forest. Henry stayed put. And I have a theory about that in a minute, but, you know, Emma's in a mental hospital. She doesn't remember anything. She thinks she's crazy. Fiona, the Black Fairy, is Henry's adoptive mother in this land, and, you know, Belle's missing, and Gideon is still an adult, but, you know, working with his father, working with Rumple, Mr. Gold, at the store, and once again, Henry has to get everyone to believe. You know, he does have the heart of the truest believer, and that is his job. His job is that, and as the author, is to get Emma to believe. And the twist that I thought was fascinating was that for every minute that Emma didn't believe, another fairy tale world crumbled. And we kind of saw that when they were in the Mad Hatter's little portal area. We saw Oz disappear, Arendelle disappeared, you know, Agrabah disappeared, Wonderland disappeared. We saw all of that happening, and I thought that was a nice, clever little twist of a way to erase everything. Was if the Savior doesn't believe in it, it never happened. They just don't exist at all, and there's no way of getting them back. And I thought that was kind of a nice twist on a curse. You know, I did kind of, you know, I think I saw somebody on Twitter and asked, why didn't Henry go back to the Enchanted Forest, or why didn't Henry? I think a lot of people forget Henry was born in a land without magic. Emma was born in the Enchanted Forest and transported to the land without magic. Henry was born in the land without magic. He was born in Arizona, which is pretty much the land without magic. I mean, it's the desert. And I think those kind of curses just don't really affect him, because he can't go back to anywhere that he is not from. He's from here. So I think that was kind of a nice fun, not a fun twist in that way. I just think that a lot of people maybe forgotten that, you know, technically, yes, the Black Fairy did want to separate Emma from all of her family, but the one person she could never separate him from is Henry. Henry can't go back. He can't go back to a land without the Enchanted Forest, because he's not from there. He can't go back to where he's from unless you want to count the prison hospital in Arizona. So I think that wraps that part up. You know, I think I tweeted out earlier that I'm pretty sure I said, you know, what the fuck, a lot out loud, a lot during this episode. You know, first there was the Charming and Hook falling almost to their deaths from a freaking beanstalk. You know, I knew Hook was gonna survive only because of the fact that Colin is coming back next season. So I was like, well, he's surviving it somehow. But there was an honest moment where I thought that they killed Prince Charming. And well, you know, Snowing wasn't always my favorite ship. I didn't always love, you know, Snowing. I don't want Prince Charming to die. I'm too much of a Disney nerd to want Prince Charming to die. So that was that. And then, you know, the parallels that they played with that in the pilot episode I thought was great. And then there was, of course, when Emma burned the book and everything was crumbling, and the evil queen sacrificed herself originally to save everybody again. And I had said, what the bleep? Again, and I was just like, they're not going to kill everybody again, because I know some of these people are coming back, but they could kill them all back and they would only come back in flashbacks. You know, there was that option, and that gave me a little bit of anxiety. And then the actual final battle. So I liked how the final battle wasn't a physical war. It was really, the final battle was the war on Emma and her, I think Snow said it best, where it was a war, it was a battle for Emma's soul. It was a battle for her heart, for her belief, for her hope. And it wasn't a physical battle like we've seen them kind of do in the past. It was literally a battle for what Emma believes in. And, you know, she might have burned the book, but her son is the author. Henry is the author, and he literally wrote her a new one to get her to believe, and she came back. And, you know, it turns out that, again, darkness cannot snuff out light. Light and light can snuff out light, which technically doesn't make sense, because light and light would just make things really super bright. But then there was the part where Emma, it looked like she'd sacrificed herself to Gideon to save everybody else. And I need to go back and rewatch this part, because it seems like the third option she had was maybe casting some sort of spell at the last minute that just cursed her, and she would need a true love's kiss to wake up, but it reverted Gideon back to his baby self. Which, I mean, I loved that, you know, Belle does now get her moment in the sun to raise her son. So there was that. I said, I did a little what WTF when Fiona and the Black Fairy pushed Henry down the stairs, because bitch, move, man. I've broken my arm. It is not fun. And also, I call crap on him removing that sling too soon. If you fell down the stairs and you had a broken arm or an injured arm, you would not be wielding a sword a couple of hours later. No, call crap on that. So, you know, I said WTF quite a bit. The other couple of things, I really wish we would have seen a little bit more of a flash forward. You know, it looked like it was just like a couple of weeks flash forward. I really wish maybe we would have seen a little bit more of a flash forward of, you know, Captain Swan maybe with a baby, you know, living their happily ever after in their house, on the Jolly Roger. Really, I just want a series all about Captain Swan. And now I know I'm never going to get that. I will make peace with that eventually, I will. I will live in the fan fiction world where somebody will make my dreams come true. But, you know, it ended with, you know, we did kind of see these smatterings of, you know, it opened with adult Henry and Lucy, you know, Henry running from something and telling Lucy to go hide. And then in the middle, we saw Tiger Lily come back. So we apparently at some point, Tiger Lily gets her wings back, and she becomes a fairy again because she finds Lucy and Henry's sword and tells her she's bringing her back to her mother. So I'm assuming her mother will at some point play a part. And then of course it ended with Lucy finding adult Henry, who does not believe anymore, in Seattle in a crap apartment, because apparently that's what this new curse has done. And so that's where we're going to be going starting in season 7. And you know, ABC really brought it down to the wire. I don't think I've ever refreshed my inbox waiting for a press release from ABC or from any TV studio as much as I have been this week waiting for the official word that Once Upon a Time was coming back. And it's not just coming back for 13 episodes. They didn't say it's coming back for a final season. They just said it's coming back for a full, it's got 22 episodes all next season. ABC's upfront is on Tuesday, so we'll find out. I'm assuming they're going to keep it at its 8 p.m. on Sunday slot. Again, this is kind of where that technical stuff comes in. It is ABC's highest rated show on Sunday nights, even though, yes, ratings have slipped quite a bit in the last couple of years. It is still its highest rated show on Sunday. It's the only thing that they've been able to sustain on a Sunday night. So I doubt that they're going to change that now. So that is where we are, oncers. Wow, this is going to be a long video. So that is where we are. Let's keep this conversation going. You can leave comments down below. I will be replying back to comments as they come in. You can hit me up on Twitter. I am at mistimichellexo on Twitter. I'm very, as a fan of the show, as a fan of the whole kind of what Adam and Eddie have done, I'm extremely excited to see what we're going to be going into season 7 with. I am sad though that this is the end for my Captain Swan ship. You know, we will see it again a little bit, I believe, in season 7. I'm assuming they're going to queue up to what happened to Emma Swan, what happened to all of this, what have they been up to, what caused this. So I'm assuming we'll get a little bit of play in that. But the other thing I thought of yesterday, I was getting my hair cut yesterday, I kind of thought back thinking, Comic-Con. You know, one of the best things was the interactions between Jen and Colin and the whole cast at Comic-Con. And if ABC goes to Comic-Con this year with Once Upon a Time, it's going to have a very different look and feel. Very different look and feel. So I'm excited to see where they're going with this. I hope the fans, I hope all of us Once Upon a Time fans still tune in with it. It's a great story. Adam and Eddie are great at the storytelling. These are great actors. I really want to see this keep going. They've given everybody some happy endings, and now it's on to the next part. So that is where we're at. That concludes this episode of this very special episode of Let's Chat Once Upon a Time. Also, let me know in the comments if you still want me to do these. If you want me to bring this back for season 7. It may not be a weekly thing, it may not be right after the episode airs, depending on my traveling schedule. But if you guys want this, if you guys really want to see Let's Chat Once Upon a Time, let me know down below in the comments or hit me up on Twitter. If you guys want me to do this live, this is a taped one. I just couldn't figure out at the last minute how to do how to set up the live stream for YouTube. I know I'm eligible for it, but I just haven't figured out how to do it. Apparently I have to download some software. But if you guys want me to do this as a live chat, as an actual live thing right after the episode aired, I would be willing to do that, but it's all up to you guys, it's all up to the viewers. So if you guys want that, let me know in the comments below, or of course you can find me on Twitter. So we'll just say until next season, I will try to do that. I will make this promise to you right now. I will do this again for the season premiere of season 7. I will do a Let's Chat Once Upon a Time for the season premiere of season 7, since it is a lot of changes. So I will, of course, so I will now see you again for Let's Chat Once Upon a Time season 7, probably in September. Of course, you can always see me weekly on my beauty videos, which of course are on the same channel. So until we meet again,